Hey, what's happening, you guys? Welcome back to a Tuesday tune-up. You are here with myself, J.M. Rice, and my special guest, Tara Carter, who I'm going to tell you about in just a moment. But remember, you are here to learn about being happy, healthy, and wealthy. And this young lady is going to be able to help you in all of those regards, and certainly in the wealth department when it comes to financials, because she is a badass when it comes to real estate. Tara Carter is a third-generation realtor, built her business on generosity, appreciation, and love, certified referral coach, and she averages more than 30 million a year in transactions without ever taking a lead, and is a productivity coach, and is on the road constantly, and you're busy.
I'm a little busy.
How are you?
Productive. I'm productive.
You are productive. Thank you for being here. I know I kind of last minute said, hey, I would love for you to be here today because the subject matter we're talking about is how to believe in yourself and make your own opportunities. And when I thought of that, I was like, well, you're pretty good at this subject. So I thought, perfect time to bring you on.
It's definitely a subject that I love because I don't believe I'd be anywhere in life without having that right mindset.
So tell me about that mindset. Third generation realtor. So you saw people doing entrepreneurship and you saw them building business, but you have taken it, and not to say that they haven't built an amazing business, which your family has, but you've taken it to this new level of social media, and you've taken it to this new level of constantly being at retreats and conventions, and you're speaking. So where did that come from?
I don't think that people are born as natural leaders. I think that it's something that you work on yourself daily and you kind of know what your purpose is in life and why you want to do this. And so I've always kind of climbed the laddership leaders in regards to being, class president in high school and student government president from middle school and high school. And then it just led into more things. And I never really wanted to get into real estate. And I noticed that I was who I surrounded myself with. And growing up, it was always, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And then as I've gotten this kind of new eras into different parts of my life, I've realized it's not what you know, who do you know, who do they know? It's not what you know, it's who you know, it's who do they know. Right. And so by me capitalizing with other connections and meeting other people that can connect me to other people to help me climb that leadership ladder and feel like raise my lid, I was able then to raise myself and raise my own leadership lid.
Yeah. And it's a good idea because, to your point, you meet someone and then whether you call it networking or you bring value, I think is what I see you do, is you bring value to a relationship and then you're giving first I don't even know that you ever ask, but you give, and then yet you continue to receive. And I always say givers gain, right? That's kind of the idea that I bring to the table, but you just naturally seem to do that and it keeps expanding and growing. For instance, I know you're just gone at a convention and you were just telling us some of the wins that you had. You clearly recognize opportunities and you make your own. So it's a skill set. And how do you really develop that? Is this just something where you're like, all right, I'm going to give and good shit happens?
I think that's the mindset. Like I spent a lot of time in my own mindset and pouring into myself and seeing how can I become the best person ever. And it starts with how I talk to myself. And I think that is, if I'm not okay, like I can't give to others if my bucket's not full. And I notice that's when I go down, not the prettiest paths, and I'm either super high or I'm super low. I don't really have a middle ground. So my goal is always what do I need to do to be the best person possible? And what do I need to do to fill my own cup first before I can pull back into others? And I do believe in the generosity generation, that the more that I give and give and give, I will eventually receive. And you don't give hoping to receive, expecting to receive. You give because you actually care and you come from contribution.
So let's talk about pouring into yourself, because you, again, being completely vulnerable, you said, I'm either really high or really low. Obviously, the hope is not to hit the low parts. And I know it happens to all of us, but let's see if we can solve this puzzle a little bit, because I love when you're operating high. Obviously, so do you. What do you do to pour into that part of it?
I have something called a contingency list.
Okay.
And I could pull up my phone right now. So there's a contingency list that I made is when I feel not so great at that moment, I look at my contingency list and I could do one of those things immediately. So some of goosebumps because I love my contingency list. I had to use it a lot last week, actually. And so some of the things that are in it is put my toes in the sand. Something is make a gratitude call somebody and tell them that I'm grateful for them. And I could just, sometimes I'll just scroll and be like, okay, that's the person I'm calling right now. And it's just the little things, because I noticed that when I need an energy shift, coming from gratitude is the highest level of energy. So when I make a gratitude call, I'll just be like, JM, I really appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do to pour into our market center and into our agents and building other leaders and caring about us. And I love how much you pour into your podcast and into the community to be able to share your message. And I'm very grateful for you. Actually, I very much mean that. Like, I sincerely am. No, I'm grateful for you. Absolutely. It's your book and as well the podcast episodes that I've listened to. So it changes. It brings me joy to let somebody know too that I'm grateful. So that would be another. And then I have little things like get a massage or book a trip, or I have things that are bigger, yet it's the small little tweaks. I even have an envelope on the side of my car, and what it is, and it says open here. And if I'm at a red light, it's little messages that I can pull out on colored index cards. So a contingency list, I would say write down a list of all the things that bring you joy in life, and be able to know that, recognize that you're not your thoughts or emotions. And I'm just aware of what's happening right now. And what can I do to change this energy?
So there is a lot of really good stuff to unpack here. I want to start with putting her toes in the sand, because I don't know if you realize, maybe you do, I don't know, but we're energetic beings, and what she's doing is grounding. Do you realize that?
I didn't realize that.
Okay. So she's grounding and actually getting energy from the earth. That's the first thing. Now, you may just love the beach. You may just love the way that sand feels on your feet, but there's a lot that goes into this. And again, not woo-woo, this is science. You're grounding yourself to energy from the earth. So
I didn't think about that.
That's interesting. The gratitude thing, the call is so cool, because there's so much value that you get by sending love to others. And the practice I learned from my mentor is sending 3 texts every day to people to say, you know what, I really appreciate you. You were really important in my life at some point. You hadn't talked to him for 20 years, but just saying, I just wanted you to know how much you mean to me. And it's amazing what comes from that. So talk to me more about the gratitude call, because they've heard me talk about gratitude practice. But I love that you reach out and say to someone what you just said, whatever that is, to that human being, because you're getting a ton of value from it, as are they.
Absolutely. You pretty much learn things from other people as well. And so there was a very, very successful agent, and she came to visit me, and she was with me for 3 days. And every single morning she started her day and called somebody to tell them that she appreciated them. And I was like, finally asked her, I was like, so do you make that call every morning? She's like, 5 days a week. That's how I start my day. I start my day with gratitude. I said, well, I start my day with affirmations and 3 things that I would like to accomplish today for it to be a win. And literally just one big affirmation that I'll write down, and 3 things I'm grateful for. Yet it's taking it another level to start your day with one gratitude call or one gratitude text it has nothing to do about you. Now I did my affirmations and what I'm grateful for, yet let's help somebody else. Let's bring somebody else joy. And I have more joy in that than just writing what I'm grateful for in my affirmation.
That's really cool. The only question I would want to ask her is, why doesn't she do it 7 days a week? I mean, I get the 5 days, right? The business days, but then you still want to be happy on the weekend, right?
Maybe she doesn't want to be a fail herself. I feel like she would be failing herself not to commit to 7 days.
Maybe so. The envelope, I want to know, give me a couple of the affirmations or what you pull out of this envelope, because this is a new one. I have not heard someone having it in their car. We're in our car all the time. But you, all right, I'm not feeling great. I'm at the stoplight. Cool. Let's feel better. What are some of are you willing to share?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very vulnerable. Ask me anything.
So give a couple of examples of what you've written down on these stickies or whatever. I'm envisioning these little pieces of paper, and you said color coded. So tell me more about it.
So I have some that say, what you focus on expands, no pressure, no diamond, come from contribution. It's fear or faith, you choose. There's no, don't listen to your drunk monkey. You are not your thoughts or emotions. Um, and some reminders to make me a gratitude call. And then my big why to be able to make sure that my Nana never goes into a nursing home and then my sister's never on food stamps again. So be able to have that reminder. And one of them has like a little picture of each of them. So there's a few other things on there, mostly quotes that I pull out from books.
How did personal development and growth come into your life? Because as you're saying these things, as you're talking about affirmations, I picture people that have told me for years, it's all bullshit, man. That doesn't work. And obviously I believe in it, as do you. But tell me about your journey into personal development and growth, because it's clearly a foundational piece of who you are on a daily basis.
Yeah. So I started actually, and do you ever heard of Toastmasters?
I have.
So I started in Toastmasters in 5th grade.
Really?
Yeah. That's probably why I get paid to speak so much. And I thought it was just cool because I was going to school late, and I would have never thought that the things that were learned were ingrained in me. And I see my mom growing up, she'd always have motivational things in her mirror. We had a motivational thing in the shower that I always thought that was really silly. And that is, I'm alive and I'm awake and I feel great. I feel good. I feel fine. I feel this way all the time. And sometimes that helps me, especially if I'm feeling sick and literally like, not just mentally sick. I mean, like physically sick. I will repeat that to myself, and our cells eavesdrop on our thoughts. So in order for me to do that, I think it was the foundational pieces. And so now I actually just made little shower. It's like a door hanger, but it's waterproof for your shower. And we made one and gave them out to all of our clients lately. And I'm like, that's so corny. I'm like, no, it's not, because I remember that affirmation in my shower my whole life. Like that just sticks with me. And it's got like a little jingle to it.
Well, good job, Mom. And it makes me happy as a parent because my kids I don't rhyme them, unfortunately. I should. That's way more fun.
There was like a John Hopkins or something like little door hanger kind of thing. And then she would always have a dry erase marker and write things on her mirror. And she had her goals and affirmations literally posted on her mirror. So I kind of had to look at them anyways when I brushed my teeth. So they were there.
Oh, it's brilliant. Look, again, the mirror method is there. You're rewiring the subconscious. There's so many good things that your mom was doing. Again, whether she heard it somewhere and she's just like, okay, we're going to do this, or she realized all the psychology at play. It's brilliant. I want to talk about for a moment when you hit that low cycle, though, when humans inevitably shit just happen and we're not feeling great. What's your go-to is it putting the feet in the sand? Is it a process, or is that a daily upkeep that you're doing?
Good question. I would say that the contingency plan has really, really helped in that. And then I created accountability with friends in my life, especially these 3 girls, and the accountability system around that has been helpful because we all have shared our contingency list plans with each other. And so sometimes, even though I'm like, I don't want to go to the beach, don't put my toes, even though I know that that's going to make me feel better, but I don't want to. Like, no, I want to sulk right now. I want to stay in my bed, eat some ice cream. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to check my emails. I don't want to. No, the answer is no. And that's the phone a friend one.
So the permission piece is key here. What you just talked about. I love this. These 3 girls and yourself. And so it's 4 total. It's like the Fantastic Four. I'm guessing you've given permission to say, look, when I suck at life right now, you kick my ass.
Yes.
You call me on my stuff. You tell me when I'm doing great, celebrate me. But at the same time, let me know when I'm failing and I'm not coming through. Is that a fair assessment of the relationship?
Absolutely. It actually so fair that just recently, I'll get personal. I had a breakup, and I recognized the patterns that I have in my past and how I choose to pick my significant others. There's people that I want to be with. And I noticed what my pattern is. And I said to them, guys, I realize my pattern. I understand what's going on here. And here's why I think that's happening. And then here's how we're going to break that cycle. And I need you to hold me accountable to it. And we set up an accountability piece around that as well.
So hear this out. This is now being completely intentional about moving into your next relationship.
Yes.
Now, this is key for any endeavor, but I don't think people think about this with a relationship, right? If you've had ones that obviously haven't worked out the way you wanted, and you recognize I'm saving someone, I'm attracted to someone broken, whatever the thing is, you're saying, okay, I see this now. I don't know why, or maybe you said you figured it
Figured
out,
it out.
which is cool. But you're so intentional moving forward that now these girls can say, nope, falling into the same pattern, or you're on track. Is so
Yeah.
that's
We set up an accountability piece around that. So what I noticed is that I don't have my standards, like the way that I hold my standards for the like minimum standards that I have and I hold myself to is not even the standards that the minimum of who they are as a person. So what happened is I have no standards. My standards were there, and I would be willing to sacrifice myself and do a disservice to myself by allowing, because I didn't set a standard of what that minimum should look like. And that's why I end up in this cycle and like enough. So I identified what my standard is. And I said, if this is, and I identified who that standard is. And I said, if this is not the minimum standard, if this person is not this person, you have permission to even call that person and tell him that I told you, because I know he'll whoop my butt because he's a really good friend of mine.
so here's what's cool. This is now relationships, because in business, you don't have this challenge. I know this enough about your business. You're very clear on exactly who you're attracting. You're very clear on what you're bringing into your life. And I'm saying this just so we're clear, because this is human nature. We have really clear lenses in certain parts of our life, and others we need help in. And I think it's really cool that you said, okay, I've found my not flaw, challenge, maybe
challenge, opportunity, room for improvement.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. But that's not how it is in business for you. You're so clear and intentional. And so I love that you figured that out. And I'm excited for you.
Me too.
I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the fact that you've built this amazing real estate business, over 30 million a year of transactions without ever taking a lead.
Paying for a lead.
Oh, excuse me, paying for a lead. Good way to point that. That's clear. So talk to me about that, because I think if anybody's listening, whatever business they're in, whether it's real estate, any form of sales, I want to do that. So how?
I think that's where you start your business. My foundation is the generosity generation, coming from contribution, which I said multiple times. And it's being seen as the connector. I am the connector. I run a concierge style business, and I kind of always had, because my previous job running nightclubs, the high end nightclubs and restaurants for 10 years on Las Olas, I was always the connector. I built a black book, and now I've transferred that into real estate to where, like, I am better than Angie's List. What you need, what you got. Well, you want the favorite date night that you have, the concierge service over here. You checked into this hotel, call my concierge here. What restaurants do you guys want to go to? I'm not just selling real estate, I'm selling a lifestyle. So, and because they're not just buying the house because of the house that's there and they like the house, they're buying the house because the proximity to the beach, proximity to where they want to be, proximity to their job or the schools for their kids. And so what is that lifestyle? So I can educatedly be able to connect other people. Example, when I went on a listing appointment with the seller the other day, and they had wanted to get into the real estate business, investing. And I said, well, tell me more about that. What part of investing would you like to get into? And they said, well, we're not sure, buy and hold, buy and flip, syndication, or there was another part of it. And I said, well, how about this? I only excel in one of those areas. I'm still exploring some of these others. How about I connect you to the people that are doing that at a very high level? And then we can have that discussion and let's weigh out our options. So I'm the connector. What literally, who and what are your needs that I can help solve a problem for you?
Brilliant. She comes from curiosity. Even if I'm not the right human being, I'm going to know someone, or we'll find it together.
Absolutely.
She's in the boat rowing with them. Like, look, we're going to help you solve whatever problem you have, whatever goal you're trying to achieve. I'm there with you. We're already approaching, man, this went fast, 20 minutes almost. What's on your heart that you want to share with the audience that you've been thinking about it? You're surrounding yourself with so many interesting and amazing human beings that are sharing lots of this amazing content. So what's on your heart right now that you're like, I got to share this before we hop off?
I would say stick to what you're passionate about. Think that, a lot of times we try to improve our weaknesses and spend time on that. And how can I perfect these weaknesses? And now getting intentional more about what are your qualities about you that are your strong suits, and is what you're doing right now in your life aligned with amplifying what your strengths are. And what does that look like? If I'm not satisfied with what I'm doing, we have one life to live. And let me tell you, I will not be on my deathbed having the 5 regrets of the dying at all. So I can confidently say that if I did, God forbid, anything were to happen to me tomorrow and I was on my deathbed, I have truly lived a life authentically to myself. And there's not a lot of things I haven't experienced yet. And to date, and that's, death is coming. We're all dying one day. I mean, you can't hide from it. It is what it is. So embrace it. We have one life. Like, stop with the judgment, raise your I don't give a fuck radar, and let's go.
It's good. Shout out to Bronnie Ware. That book, by the way, is eye-opening, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And I love how you're applying it to say, not going to be me.
No.
Like, I'm not sitting in hospice going, I wish I had worked more. I wish right? These are all the things that they're saying, I wish I had not done. So I love that. Thank you for coming on. This was really insightful. If people wanted to connect with you, Tara, because again, I know you have a substantial social media presence. She's getting blown up as we're talking, by the way. There's like call after call after call. How can people reach you and connect with you online? What's the best place for them to do that?
So the best place to do that would most likely be Instagram. It is at Miss Tara Carter, MS, because I am not married yet. And that will be tabled for a little while. And or my phone number, 954-661-6990. And just look for the flamingos. And I would love to flamingo with you.
She said this coming in. I can't wait to flamingo and
flamingo.
That's see, I missed that. I'm just not hip enough, I guess. But she is a fascinating human being with all sorts of cool pink stuff. Thank you for being here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Guys, whether you're looking to increase your social media game, your referral game, your network game, your real estate game, anything, this woman has so many connections. She is an amazing human being to be a part of, and I'm grateful to have her in my life. So please check her out. Go to where she said. She even gave you her phone number. That's going out there. That's pretty awesome. So until next time, remember, your mindset matters. I appreciate you all so much. We'll talk soon. Thank you so much for listening. If this content is delivering value to you, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us. That helps us build this community, and that is what we are all about. Building this community as big as we can, helping as many people as we can, and deliver as much value as possible. Be sure to head over to letsgowinpodcast.com for information on my coaching courses, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Let's Go Win 365. Let's go win and transcend in life.
This is the Let's Go Win podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson.